It's coming up. We can see the bottom right now, and it looks a lot like the upper part of a talus slope. In other words, a pile of debris that has fallen off the very steep undersea wall that we're approaching. The sediment is lightly coated over the rocks that are exposed. Those are the black things that you see.
Pilot, before you descend all the way down, can we look at that?
And as we get down a little closer, we'll take a close look. The pilots are going to have to position the remotely operated vehicle, or D2, on the seafloor, get themselves set up. It'll take 10 minutes or so before we start moving forward. The way the ship and the remotely operated vehicle work is that there is a big cable that actually is spooled onto a huge drum that is operated by one of the ROV crew who is down below decks in a 100-degree room, and he's watching the winch. In other words, the
winch
mechanical control for that huge drum of cable. The cable is sent over a shiv or a large circular device that's suspended from the A-frame at the back of the ship, and it has a little groove in it over which the cable runs straight down into the water. And the length of cable on that spool, I'm told, is about 8,000 meters.
Holding.
So there's a huge pile of cable down there.
I think I'm starting to
the cable right now is attached to the Sirius vehicle, which is a self-propelled small sled with lots of lights and cameras on it, suspended by a 30-meter cable above the remotely operated vehicle. You can actually see it in the feed that is the one right in the middle of the three that you see on the bottom of your screen. And if you look at it, it is looking at D2, our ROV, which is looking at the seafloor, which is covered with rubble, rocks, my favorite thing in the world.
We like rocks.
We like rocks. We also like the biology on the rocks. So
that's right. That's why we're liking rocks.
Shirley likes rocks for one reason. I like rocks for what's inside of them.
That's what makes the world go round.
That is indeed. And Shirley and I have never actually sailed together. We've known one another for a long time. Couple of, 3 decades?
Yeah.
And
when we were 5.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the first time we've been able actually to get to sea together, and we're having a wonderful time.
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't. Could be.
Yeah, what's fun about this is that because of the way this operates through telepresence, so a telepresence-enabled exploration mission, we have the opportunity to participate with scientists from many different disciplines in geology and biology, with whom we would normally not have been sailing.
Yeah.
So this is a great opportunity for me.
Even as much as I back up and go down, it just keeps.
And I'm learning a lot. I'm relearning a lot about invertebrate biology as well.
Yeah, me too. Stuff I actually never knew.
I think I knew some of that. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Since we're still above the bottom here, just a little note. Both Scott and I followed up on that really weird shrimp we saw a couple days ago on the really deep dive. And he contacted somebody, and I contacted somebody, and now the shrimp world is abuzz about this shrimp. Mary Wickstein is convinced it's in this a very, very unusual family, and that it's the first time that shrimp has ever been seen alive. And the genus that she thinks the shrimp is in apparently was described by one very battered specimen that came up in a trawl. And so people are very excited. This is the shrimp that held his legs up and had all the hairs on it. It was really weird. Hardly any eyes. So yet another great find by the Okeanos.
Chris, I'll just follow up on that to add that one of the things that impressed the shrimp experts around the world was that they didn't know how it was feeding. And so those video clips are going to be very, very valuable.
We are set up on the bottom here.
Thanks. So would you folks like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. The
Okay.
front row of the control room, we have a team from the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration. We're all engineers who designed, built, and now operate and maintain this vehicle system. I'm Carl McCletchy, the pilot right now. On my left, I have...
Hi, sitting nav is Sean Kennison.
And then to the right
is co-pilot Levi Unima.
Levi, I don't think you're on.
And to my right,
OKEX.
OKX.
Oh,
yeah.
I was not OKX. I am now. I am the co-pilot Levi Unima, and to my right we have.
I'm Roland Bryan, video engineer in the corner, and to my to the back row.
To my right.
Good morning, Tara Smithy, clipping video this morning.
Okay. So you want your lowers out, right?
Tara will be clipping some
Did you get the drawer in?
beautiful sections of the video that will go up on the website for Okeanos Explorer, and folks, you can take a look at those at your leisure and relive the dive.
Okay, we are ready to roll.
We
are
are
at 1,914 meters, and we
look
got
at
this.
the
Look at those
rocks.
rocks.
Whoa,
zoomed in slightly.
Bob Stern is joining us.
Yes.
Robert Stern
good.
is the person who I don't see him yet. Oh, yes, I think I do. No, well, there's a Robert there.
He's there. Bob, are you there?
Bob, you want
It was off to the right. It was a purple.
tell us a bit about what we're looking at?
Co-pilot, do you want your sonar set to 50?
Yeah, thanks.
We have got a huge pile of coarse boulders. Some of them show a remarkable amount of rounding, which makes me think either something was exposed near sea level or maybe we're looking at pillows. But this sure looks igneous to me. Of course, everything looks igneous to me. Very young. There's no sediment on it. I don't even see much life on it. So something very young is up close. Very exciting.
Yeah, Bob, I see a real light dusting of sediment on these rocks. The really cool thing is I don't think that they are glued together by manganese oxide as the ones were yesterday. And we have a floater kind of in the middle of the
looks like one of those jellies that we saw yesterday.
You want to go in?
Yeah, this landing spot looks completely different than yesterday's landing spot.
Wow, nice jelly.
Co-pilot, want to get lasers off?
Night and day from what we started off with yesterday.
Lasers off.
It's beautiful jellyfish, very similar to the one we saw yesterday. Yeah, Scott, were you going to say something?
This is what we would call a coronate jellyfish. Coronate means crown, and it's referring to the groove that separates that upper bulbous part from the lower part where all the tentacles arise. And you can see the dark red, which is pigmented and could possibly hide any bioluminescent prey that were ingested.
I got you at 35 degrees, 34. Video is serious.
All right, video. I'm starting
all the
to
way
drift off the screen.
Thank you.
Thank you, video.
So directly above lasers, I see
Betty, if we get a chance, can we zoom in on one of those rounded boulders? Just their shape is really puzzling.
To the upper right. Right behind the rock.
Go ahead, watch it. All right, like the two under the lasers here?
Yep.
Okay, we're doing that, Bob.
Yep, that would be good. What I see in this tails pile, I would say, is mostly subangular fragments. Certainly the ones that we're headed for right in the middle look rounded, and there is actually some in the upper right corner of the screen that do look a bit like actually the tube of a pillow. So we should take a look at that too as we zoom in.
Yeah, and then afterwards we're going to want to take a look at that white branch that's in the upper left.
Okay.
Can do.
Tether is happy.
Co-pilot.
As we get closer, you can see that the
video.
actual
Get this
surfaces
folder.
of the rocks do have a coating of what is very likely to be manganese oxide, which we have seen on almost all of the rocks we have recovered. Also, the surface is the surface of the rocks. Almost everything that we've zoomed on has had these are these hydroids, or and also
they look like they may be
very tiny, like less than a centimeter long, thin, almost hair-like features that make the rocks look sort of fuzzy. And certainly has to be some sort of biology.
Could be it could be bacterial mat for sure.
Yep.
But you know, when we've brought them back, it's impossible. Those rocks that we've collected, impossible
to get them off.
unless you were to basically just break that rock and then keep the small chunk
material,
of it.
Keep the manganese oxide coating and let the biologists have their way with
whenever you're clear,
the little things sticking out of it.
Deb's calling this bioclutter.
Bioclutter, all right. That's from a geologist. Pilot, could we zoom before you go up to that white stalk? Zoom right and slightly just beyond the boulder that's in view. There's a thing that looks more tubular.
Like broken
like in the
face?
upper right?
The upper right corner.
Upper right corner.
That brown circular face that's looking at you,
that.
If we just take a look at, okay, I think it's two boulders, one behind the other, so it's not, those are not connected.
So no zoom?
Yeah, please zoom.
Is she referring
we'll
to
go
the
take a look
behind
at
the
the
rock
stalk.
to the right of that?
I think this brown face, you said.
I see a tube.
The one just to the right, upper right of the lasers.
It's past these three big rocks immediately to the right. And you'll have to stop your slide now. It's immediately right of lasers.
One the lasers are on.
Right next to the square rock.
Yes, please.
Okay, can go in video.
Yep, that's a separate boulder. What I had thought perhaps was
you
that
thought
this
there were
rock,
two might be connected?
right, and that it made a distinct tube.
Yeah.
But we can clearly see that this pile of rocks is covered a little bit just to the upper left-hand corner of the screen with sediment. There is some sediment on the surface of the one we're looking at now as well. So just a very light dusting on the rock.
Not nearly as much as what we saw yesterday.
Not nearly. No, that's quite true.
With the white things
But most of these rocks you can see are what we would call subangular. So you can see distinct corners on some of them. And we have something on the rock. What is this, Shirley?
I don't know.
Oh, we got a couple of little growies.
Yeah.
Growies?
Growies, that's a variation of thingy.
Yeah, it is. Tiny little thing with a light.
You know what? I don't know what that is.
Thingy
Must
that
be one of
grows.
these one-celled organisms.
Rock below near your right skid on HD2.
Yeah, I think these are probably both foraminifera, which are single-celled protists, kind of similar to an amoeba. And I was thinking the other day about the complexity of life and, you know, some of these marvelous big animals we're seeing, but how amazing this small stuff is, because we basically have a single cell which is able to capture particles from the water and pick up mud grains and build these little structures in the form of trees and plates and so on. And then they continue to use their sticky cell membranes to capture organic particles to feed on.
Thank you, Scott.
Want to do a zoom here video?
Learning a lot about forams.
Look at that rock.
We have a teeny little critter
in
the upper left corner of that rock, and it looks like a cricket. Okay, sorry. But it does.
It does.
Okay, biologists, what are we looking at now?
Video, if you go wide, I'll actually set down for this rock.
I'm squinting to see it.
It looks a little bit like an isopod. I'll have to wait for the
You're off
close-up.
my starboard, but I'm blowing a little bit.
We'll get
support,
one.
So you're fine.
All right. After this shot, I'll get ahead for the next watch.
Yes, definitely an isopod there.
Okay.
Really?
Closely related to the amphipod.
Turn to follow me.
Turning starboard.
So like those groups, the isopods These are closely related to the roly-polies that you see in your basements and so on.
No, I'm sure there's
and
something.
in the movie A Bug's Life, those were isopods, those roly-polies, the pill bugs.
Yeah,
but
the
these isopods are paracarids, so they have the brood chambers where they hold their embryos and raise their embryos until they hatch into juveniles, and so basically those young are carried around in a marsupium underneath the thorax.
Yeah, so Scott, these are then similar in their reproductive, actually same in their reproductive strategy as the mysids that we've seen hanging on to the glass sponge stalks.
Yes, exactly.
Is this animal covered with sediment?
Yeah,
it
looks
looks
like
as if it has just glued little fragments of the sediment to its exterior.
That proboscis
it's quite
like
fascinating, almost
bug.
like it's disguising, decorating,
camouflaged.
itself.
Well, we almost didn't see it.
Oh, did you see its back end? Looked like it opened up.
Yeah, it did.
Maybe that's its front end.
The ship store is now open at this time. The ship store is now open.
Well,
that's pretty cool.
That's good video. As soon as you're good with it, we are.
Video's clear.
Very good.
Yeah, actually, there was a white branch over to the, I think, upper left that I had seen before. I have no idea, but I wanted to just check it out, make sure.
Pilot, we had a white
I think you
branch
saw it.
to the upper left.
I don't see it in the screen
It's
now.
a little farther left.
Yeah, I think so.
As the pilot was maneuvering to
there it
get
is.
a good view of the small critter on the rock, we also saw the slope, which was about 40 degrees. So this is a quite steep slope of rock.
Oh, it's not center? Oh, okay. Oh, I see it now, yeah.
Okay, folks at home, we are having a shift change in the ROV operations room here. So we're having a new set of pilot, co-pilot, and navigator coming in. They're exchanging information on what's been going on, how the vehicles are operating and so forth. So in a couple minutes, we'll get them to introduce themselves. In the meantime, we're going in for a zoom on 3 little white stalks. Oh, let's see what they are. Are these sponges, Shirley?
Oh,
She's wondering.
I'm not gonna.
She's not gonna say.
I'm not gonna guess. I want to get a closer
look. It's better to get a good look, which our video will provide.
Okay, video. Free to zoom.
Oh.
That's nice attachment on the bottom.
All right, let's move up that branch. It may be a. I'll be darned.
It has a couple amphipods.
I'll be darned.
Now, what is this, Shirley?
I'll tell you what. It looks like a sponge.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
A living one.
It looks like a sponge. I don't,
I've never seen one like this in all our dives.
Boy, Chris, what do you think? Look at that.
I think this is a bamboo coral skeleton, and it's dead and broken. You can see the brown node just sticking at the top, and you're looking at an internode. That's my guess. And then 2 amphipods sitting perched on it.
So really long segment before that internode.
Video after this shot want to come out a bit, see if there's another.
They're like, oh yeah, because Scott, because look at the one on the right. There's a polyp.
That polyp is
I think you might have the upper branch laying down there on the right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a polyp. I think it's an anemone or something.
Really? Oh yeah. You know what? You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right because it had way more tentacles than it should have had. Yep. Yep. You're absolutely right.
And there's a little worm to the right on the rock.
Go to vessels.
In the skeleton, that's characteristic of these bamboo coral skeletons. and it's a really nice view there. We're talking about how bamboos have these articulated skeletons, and just at the top before you could see this little brown nub sticking up, and that's the proteinaceous node, or what's left of it.
Destination dive in. Okay.
We're going to head north, and then once we get to the top, we're
Going
going
on
to
this
swing
one?
to the west. That's 16.
There we go.
It's just so darn white.
Is that max zoom?
That is maximum
Oh,
zoom.
okay, it's very small.
That barnacle seems to have latched on there where it's latched on. It looks like it's actually cut through the whatever that surface is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's cut through it or if that's just another node, but it is definitely a barnacle that's attached to that stalk.
Maybe this is the same
Onward?
unit that just broke off in each node.
Okay, video, you can go wide.
Okay, dead corals.
Up ahead, straight up and then slightly left of lasers is a small stick with two white things on it.
Video, the pilots are swapping right now.
So, Scott, in the interim, you've been doing a little bit of literature research on that isopod that we saw, the one that looked like it was covered with sediment and camouflage. What did you find out?
Right.
There's a fish
Possible
upper
shrimp.
right.
Well, one thing I found out that I thought was quite exciting was that it's never been seen before. I was reading a paper by a couple of isopod experts, including Buzz Wilson, and there is a drawing in that paper, a drawing of this isopod, and it says, artist's impression of what one of these strange acylotin isopods might look like in its natural environment, meaning nobody has ever seen that before.
Go ahead.
So how fantastic was that? And the reason I think I know what it is, even though it's never been seen before, is because its abdomen was kind of raised up at the back. It looked really weird. Isopods have a lot more legs than what we saw there. So that was one key.
Okay.
And then the other was those
what does our
long,
average pace need to be in order
sticking out in
to?
front, I think also were
Okay.
legs held together. So
And
that is a
how are
tremendous
the
find. So congratulations to the
surface currents
Hawkeyes
and winds,
on
and
the
what direction
vessel.
are we
Didn't
going to?
notice that on the rock.
Yeah, I think that was. I think that.
All right.
Yeah,
And bailout plan.
Patty, I think that was you
Also
who
off the
noticed
cliff,
that.
we have a bailout plan registered with them.
And what is that?
The
bailout
ice
plan?
pod.
I noticed
The
the
ice
isopod.
pod.
Yep, yep. There's a little crawler.
All right, I'm with you, watch lead.
Hey Nav, can you go ahead and expand
We,
your iPad screen there?
We just had a shift change
You don't need the current
here in the
screen.
front row. We now have got Dave and Nav, Dan and pilot, and we got Andy, co-pilot. Roland's over there on video, and we got Tara doing clipping for us, and we're all with the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration, and happy to be here with you.
And we're happy you're here.
We certainly are.
All right, so what do you want to see?
Move on up.
Are we
Yes,
moving right now?
please.
Negative. Stairs
Alright.
is stationary as well.
All right, how does sonar
We
look?
want to see where the
Sirius?
rocks came from.
Looks good.
Right?
Looks clear. Looks like we're facing uphill right now. I mean, I might be going
Yeah, we
slightly
do see
to port.
little
couple
patches
degrees, but
of sediment
What was-
where there
we're
are
heading due north, right?
clusters
Yes,
of
due
the
north.
smaller
Okay, can you
rock
follow me up on
fragments.
your camera?
But
Co-pilot?
there are
No,
a
no,
lot
pilot, your
of
sonar's at
boulders
30
on
meters.
this
Do you want
hillside.
it zoomed a little more?
Some
let's
of
go
them
20.
rounded.
All right, that'd be great. Thank you.
Most of the smaller ones are what we call
And
subangular. That
let's go ahead and
means that they do have
Let's go ahead and get 20 meters
sharp
toward
edges,
D2.
Sure.
but
Let me get
the
that
edges
in.
have been
due
sort
north,
of
right?
ground down a little bit.
Pilot, when we first settled down, there
Most
was
of
a
them have a
purple
black coating
sea
that
star
looks on our zooms as if it is a
Okay, we'll keep
manganese
an eye out
oxide
for 'em.
crust
If we see more.
on the surface of the
Can we get a
rocks.
ship move? 20
The rocks that are
meters,
lighter
bearing
colored
000.2
don't
knots.
have that, probably just because they've recently been overturned and exposed to the ocean's seawater.
Good copy, thank you. And pilot and co-pilot, I am tracking when the ship stops and when Sirius stops.
Okay.
So I could
yeah, there shouldn't be too
provide that
much.
for you at
That'd
any
be great. Thanks for keeping track of that. Shouldn't be too much of a delay today.
Yes.
So that's nice.
And if we compare, they rotate left to right to see it on Sirius's view.
So what are we looking for here, watch leads? What's the priority today?
What we'd like to do is be able to get up to the steeper part of the slope and see intact exposures, and on the way, whatever fascinating biology may attach themselves to these rocks.
Okay.
Or be swimming above them or crawling on them.
Oh, here's something.
Sure. Oh, here we go.
I'm just going to look out in the distance and we'll come back to it. How's that? Just to see the
Thank
slope.
you, pilot. This gives us the angle of the slope, which is
Big
maybe
stock over there, or is that something
high
floating?
30s
Want to do a snap zoom
low
on that?
40.
Is that a fish?
That looks like a stalked something.
Or maybe a siphonophore or something?
No, it's definitely fish, very long.
Zoom in?
Is that in the water?
Yeah, it's a fish, huh? Yeah.
Ooh.
We haven't seen
Golly,
that before.
Fortunately, well, I could push out a little bit.
Hey, Bruce, guess what?
Can't get too far, though.
It's also a small one straight below.
Keep a sharp eye on the video. It's coming up any second. Okay?
Yeah, go
Bruce,
zoom in.
Bruce Mundy's at the Inouye
Let's get this
Regional
one.
Center's
Co-pilot, you should be moving,
Expedition Control Center, and he is our fish
What time was that
expert.
ship move put in?
You will
He's
move
in Hawaii, actually in the middle of Pearl
What
Harbor
was
on
what was
Ford
that ship
Island.
move in at?
It was in at 2209.
Thank you.
And 20 meters due north.
Oh boy, I don't have a good view of that yet, but it looks like it's a true eel, and it could be one of the duck-billed eels. I didn't get a great view of it, but it could be
Tether and stuff, co-pilot.
a type of eel called a sorcerer eel or a witch eel. Chris, what do you think?
Keep an eye on your sonar for that.
That's why I brought it to your attention. It's not quite the same as the one we imaged in the Northwest Hawaiian Islands last year, but it's awfully similar.
I don't want co-pilot to get too far off heading.
Yeah, that's what I think too. There are several species of witch eels, so this could be a different species. There's also a couple of other general groups of species that are in this family. They're in the family of the duck-billed eels.
Port to starboard current, so it's going to take me a little bit to boogie over. Coming back.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the duck-billed eels, and in the witch eel group. It's interesting that this one's hanging vertically in the water column with the head down. As if it probably is not actually looking for food because there wouldn't be any natural sunlight down here at this depth. But moving along in the water, couldn't get a absolutely clear look at that. It looked like it had a relatively short nose for one of these. That might give a clue as to what species it might be. They're interesting, very poorly known eels, only from a few specimens. They're very fragile. The bodies are soft, not like a lot of these deep-living fish. The muscles aren't really well developed because they don't put the energy into building up muscle mass, and since food's so scarce at depth. So that was an interesting observation. I wish we could have gotten a better look, but it looked like it was a good distance away from the ROV, too.
Okay, folks.
Okay, so we're seeing a beautiful crinoid. Seeing a really pretty crinoid. Isn't that beautiful? Yep.
I think you have about 4 to 5 minute layback right now.
Yeah, that's about what
Zoom in tighter. Hold.
A common name for these are sea lilies.
Right. Sea lily, huh?
Yeah, this is...
you watch my swing arms. They're
pinnate, right?
Okay.
Now
they look good.
The individual tentacles have additional
little
projections.
They do.
This is different from...
it does look a lot different from ones that we've seen.
Co-pilot, that's
slightly
higher
zoom in.
on your sonar. It's about 17 or 18
So
meters.
1, 2, 3,
Thank you, Nav.
4, 5.
Ooh. What does that tell you?
It's
Arms.
pentradial.
Penta.
Just
Pentaradial.
Pentaradial.
There's quite a bit
So
of
this
current.
one looks like
Push
it's
60%.
really adapted for capturing particles in the water column. See those really,
extensions on each of the individual tentacles.
Arms.
So are those tentacles on the arms, or are those arms on the arms? No, I mean,
Nice shot, rolling.
Terminology is the downfall of all of us.
He's moving around a little bit.
And there's a sponge.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Sponge.
On the bottom right.
Yeah, go ahead. Is that Chris or Scott? Carnivorous
Yeah,
sponge.
this is Chris.
Two of them.
So my guess is that this is Hyocrinidae, or in the family Hyocrinidae, which is characterized as having 5 arms, typically. And also, this looks like what we actually got a sample of last year that he described as a new genus, but it's missing some parts right below the calyx compared to the one we collected last year. These very circular discs or cirri that were coming out just below the top of it where the arms come out.
And what we're looking at right now,
the same thing,
what we're looking at right now, Chris, I'm not sure if you saw that, but the little sunburst on a very short stalk is a carnivorous sponge.
And what was the other?
On the left-hand side. Scott thinks the other fan that we saw on the left might be a bryozoan. So we might want to, and Asako Matsumoto from Japan thinks the same.
Moving in a little bit closer.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. We're going to move in a little bit closer for that.
Plenty of time.
And Chris, sorry that I interrupted you. I just wanted to make sure we had something in the video. Seems like you guys are a little bit delayed on your feeds today.
Yeah, it's possible. Could be.
Yeah, it seems like.
My comments a little
yeah, no, that's okay. It seemed like, for example, Bruce seemed to be about 30-second delay from what we're seeing here on this ship.
Bruce usually has quite a delay before he sees the same image.
Okay, here we go. Oh, there's lots of
kind of coming at
stuff
it at a
there.
weird angle. Hold on. Back off a little bit.
So we've got the.
Down. Yeah, there's quite a bit of current today. Port to
we
starboard.
also have an octocoral called a rock pen. That's that brownish one that is to the left of the crinoid.
Good and zoom in.
We talked yesterday about sea pens. We had a close-up view, and we were looking at how they are specialized to anchor themselves in soft sediment. So here we have a sea pen, and you can very clearly see that inflated bulb at the base. But this one is we're going to look at the bryozoan first, sorry. Now I'm seeing this white bryozoan. This is the phylum Bryozoa. They're also called the moss animals. Pretty common in shallow water. And they are colonial, so you see they're made up of a whole bunch of individual zooids. And they have tentacles. The tentacles are in a horseshoe shape, and they're referred to as a lophophore. The tentacles have little cilia on them that generate a current, so they are pulling their food out of the water column.
Cool.
But yeah, now I'm looking again in the background at that rock pen, and I was just going to say that it's kind of like a toilet plunger in the way that it suction cups itself to the rock.
That toe hold's not very good.
Wow, this rock is heavily populated.
We can do a snap zoom on the sea pen when I get it centered up.
Copy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can actually, you can see that current.
Oh, we've seen this guy before. Yesterday, I remember.
Did we?
Beautiful,
Ooh.
yes.
Hold on.
The rock pen?
Yes, the sea
Did
pen.
we?
Yes, we did.
Well, okay.
And it was
look at
much,
that.
much more,
Yeah.
much larger specimen. But I think Scott was telling us about.
Yeah, I was going like 60%, 70% of my lats to pull over, so there's quite a bit of current here.
Yeah, you can see that. You can see that crinoid stalk is really bent over as well.
Just trying to float with it. Okay, do we want to continue here or move uphill?
Go up a little bit, please.
We have,
all right, let's zoom out.
It's up to them, but we have quite a bit of distance to cover.
Okay.
Trying to keep heading here, pilot.
Yep.
Any sign of that eel? Is he still within range?
I don't know.
So I noticed as the pilot was looking to the east, he's now looking almost north, coming around to almost a northern heading. But as he was looking to the right, to the east, I could see that there was more of this sediment-covered slope that seems to be bounding a particularly rough slope of talus with large boulders, cobble-sized material.
40 meters off.
So we're looking at smaller size material now as we go up the slope.
30.
Well, then I should be able to
pan up. You might see it.
Yep. I mean, tilt up.
Tilt up.
Sorry, it's a running joke.
Rotator up.
Yeah, let's get another. Let's see. Yeah.
I'm good for 20 meters right now.
Yeah, let's do 20 meters.
Okay. Bridge, ROV nav. We'd like to repeat the last move, 20 meters, bearing 000, decimal 2 knots. Thank you, Bridge.
And we can adjust our heading after the next move here.
So
a lot of these rocks are much lighter, less
manganese coated,
and they look the same color as the sediment.
In that rock,
Are we interested in the shrimp at all?
Take a
snap zoom.
Snap zoom.
This looks like the ones we saw yesterday that had the leeches on their antennae.
Hold.
No leeches today.
Nice
a clean shrimp.
you can see his little claws folded.
Except these don't have the long legs of the ones we saw yesterday.
Yeah, quite different.
Still, no leeches.
So they're saying a diversity of shrimp types of any of the
video over there.
Of all of the crustaceans. We're seeing such a diversity.
It's I think all of us do. Any one of us gets out of sync.
All right, let's zoom out. Thanks.
Okay, we are looking at an outcropping of rock right in front of us.
We got some harder turns ahead of us, but we're on our way. We're moving up.
And so you can see sediment accumulated at the base of this wall. So this will be a steeper slope, I'm guessing. Looks very blocky, like similar to the columnar jointing type of surface that we saw in the lower rocks sequences on the dive yesterday.
So would these coming up be consolidated? Do you think they're going to be stuck together? You think
they may well be.
Yeah, I think we're looking at base of that cliff here.
Yeah.
But documenting the texture and the structures also tells us something about what the rocks may be composed of.
Right.
Sediments don't form columnar jointing.
Any rock here in particular you want to look at closely?
I'm checking.
Some white stick on the right.
White stick. Oh yeah. Maybe look at that.
That white stick on the right might be another one of those
something
bamboo
on the rock on the right too.
stalks, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it looks like a
lobster, I believe. Or
zoom in on this real quick here.
Looks like a worm coming out of its hole.
Oh. Yes, it does.
The tiny white fragments you see in the sediment are most likely to be the shells or tests of foraminifera.
And that might be whatever made that tube actually selected those.
That's interesting that they would choose to select them. Why, I'm not sure, but certainly the density of the foraminiferal shells, because they're hollow, is lighter.
Might be,
And the material that I saw in the mud yesterday was primarily volcanic ash. There were actually some olivine crystals.
Oh, actually, it looks like maybe a star or something now.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Just got my toe in a rock there. Coming over. Go ahead and zoom in.
Is it good? Something to the left of it.
Oh, and there's
Streaked
another
over the
tube
rock.
to the left of it, too.
Just hanging
Gross.
out.
Looks like a
Nice brittle.
sea star or brittle star.
Yeah, yeah.
Brittle star?
No. Tara Lucas saying a. Wait a minute. We're looking at that. We're going to revise that. You can revise it, Tara, in the chat log. I think it's a brittle star.
Brittle star?
I think so, yeah.
Oop.
Sorry, trying to get a focus.
See any tube feed?
Oh, yeah. There's
Co-pilot, you have about 10 meters left.
Oh, no. Okay, so Scott and Tara are saying a sea star percentage.
It could be. It's probably me.
You think it's up with the current? Yeah, I just.
I don't know. I think it's a brittle star.
Yeah, I know. That's what it looks like to me too, Chris.
It's an asteroid, even though it looks like a percentage.
I know, but it looks. I know.
Yeah, Chris, I agree. I was just delayed on getting the zoom on the oral disc, and I think that is an ophiuroid, just incredibly long arm spine.
Ship move ended 2223.
I guess it's worth noting here that these are all echinoderms that we're talking about. So Echinodermata is a phylum, and it has 5 classes. One of the classes are the Asteroidea, which is the sea stars that include the Brachingids that we thought this was at first.
Current's
Another is
also
the
going
Ophiuroidea,
perpendicular to
which
Sirius.
is the brittle stars, which it turns out this is. And then there's also the sea cucumbers, the sea urchins, and the crinoids. We saw a crinoid
not
earlier.
towards the cliff.
And the Holothurians. Oh, yeah, you said that sea cucumbers.
You know what?
I want to look at this transition here.
Yep. Do that. We sure can. Are you looking below us right now? Okay. Are we? Is that ship move almost done?
I should have another minute and a half with Sirius.
Okay. That's perfect. Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll be right over you.
Okay. Do you see one watch lead that you like? Sorry.
Okay, so we're looking at a rock that we might be collecting.
Okay.
Yeah, Patty's talking.
Let's take a look at some in the pile that are on the right-hand side.
Right-hand side. Okay, so you want a dark one, right?
Yeah, actually, there is one. There is one that is light on the bottom and kind of dark on the top. It's coming into the center just above.
Is it
and
on the
to
lasers
right.
now?
Yes, that one. That one.
Okay, that's the one you want.
So
yes, it is.
what? Okay, so tell us why you selected that one.
2 reasons. One is it looks angular and pointy at the upscreen end. It also has very little manganese oxide on the dark brown side that's facing us. It's very close to the outcrop. I'm hoping that the material comprising this might be from that outcrop. It looks, from the view we've had so far of the outcrop, as if all of the material that is in it is in place. We would not be able to get a sample there, but frequently when we're in a submersible and we come on a big tailless pile like this, the material that is closest to the base of an outcrop is derived from that outcrop.
And I assume this will be
as
all right.
opposed to tumbling down from higher up.
We could do the starboard. I mean, we can do either rock box.
You can do either rock box, pilot. That's right.
Pilot's choice.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
I know. Our
videographer
says I'm not loud enough.
Pilot, I haven't seen this.
That's because I'm trying not to talk over the biology explanations.
Yeah, when you re-enable the valve pack, it should turn off.
I'll just try it real quick.
Yeah, it's probably saying it's a glitch in the GUI.
Okay.
Okay, so our pilots are setting up. And you'll begin to see the mechanical arm
it's a big rock, so it won't go anywhere.
Which is on the right-hand side of your
Hydraulics
screen.
are up.
Hydraulics are up.
All right. Hydraulics enabled on the arm. Twitch.
So the sample tray
These aren't
is
going to
right
be soft,
below
are
the
they,
ROV.
Watchley? I don't imagine so, but
I think these are going to be pretty hard.
Sweet.
I'd give it a 3 or 4.
Okay.
Just to be careful. So the pilots have several different views that they can use from a variety of cameras around the top of the ROV. So they get a better parallax view and can see what they're doing. And a hold on the rock.
Okay.
Want to tilt up?
Yeah, we can do a quick view for Roland here. And if you want to bring the starboard wing inboard, please.
Copy that. Starboard wing coming inboard.
Hard to tell.
Is this,
covered with manganese, it's very difficult to tell exactly what these rocks are. We get a sense if the pilot picking it up, if portions of it crumble, it's likely to be sedimentary.
Are you happy with this one?
We are.
Okay.
We are indeed happy with this one.
Nicely done.
Oh,
okay,
nicely done. Thank you, pilot.
Starboard forward.
Ah, that's right. We still have rotate on.
Yes.
Jesus, so that's nice.
There you go.
Cool.
Can't go any further up, though.
Hydraulics on the craft secure?
Not yet. Securing them right now.
All right. I was saying hydraulics on the craft secure.
Oh.
But meaning you can now secure hydraulics.
Copy that.
You're set. Thank you.
Okay. So will we get a nav metadata posting on
So we're all settled out, huh?
We are. It looks like I got a strong reading right there on my
cliff
port.
face, yeah.
45 degrees, I bet.
Okay, and what's the range on that?
It's below, it's probably about 15 meters.
Okay, we don't want to get much closer than that, but I think we're set up pretty nicely here, so.
Okay. You want to make your way that way, sort of, while
Yeah,
I turn and follow you?
Because we're approaching a cliff face here. Oh, boy. Definitely angular.
You just want to keep an eye on your distance in case the current changes.
I'm going to turn toward it.
So as we get a better look at it, we can determine whether it's
yeah, I see the fish there too. Yeah.
Fractured, jointed.
Can we bring all the swing arms in actually before we start doing this?
In the Sirius view, you can see the wall in front of the remotely operated vehicle, D2, and get a good look sort of at the environment around where we just picked up this sample.
All right, I think we're at the cliff now.
We are definitely at the cliff now. Thank you, pilot, for finding it. Yay. So we're looking at massive hard rock, highly fractured,
be done here.
so blocky surfaces, and there's a little white something in the upper left.
So white something in the upper left and a yellow something just to the right of it.
Just to the right of it. We got two bio something targets on a very steep rock face.
Why don't we back up the ship like 5 meters?
Off the cliff?
Yeah, off the cliff. It's fine here, but just in case there's a shift in current or something.
It's going to be 180 from 320.
So we want to back the ship off.
Got it.
Yeah, reciprocal.
Off of you. Okay.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do that.
I'll get that in.
Pilot FYI, top off-camera top right is a long spine.
And all swing arms are stowed, right?
All swing arms are stowed.
Okay.
Yeah, we might want to do this before I actually come up anymore, too.
Bridge, ROV nav.
Yep.
Can we get a ship move? 5 meters bearing 140 degrees at decimal 2 knots.
Okay. Sorry, watch lead. We're just getting set up safely here. What was your request? Okay. Okay.
Immediately
to the left.
Okay, I have
left
a 5 meter
yellow
move in that should pull you back
Okay.
just a little.
That's great. Thank you. Are you seeing it rolling?
It's in the black shadow immediately above lasers.
Okay.
Lasers are now next to it.
Okay.
And co-pilot, your sonar targets are within that 12.5 meter circle.
Yep, that's why we're backing up.
I understand. That's my
I
warning.
think if I zoom into the shadow,
So you could
I can show it.
actually, yeah, we're good. I think we'll be all right.
This is
All
a
right, go ahead
great
and zoom
view
in.
of the rocks, too.
Yeah. Okay. So the
Hold there.
the yellowish
Underneath. Oh,
yeah,
we're going to look at the yellow
Well,
one
no,
first?
no, they're pulling it
Okay.
to see if they're going to get some
Yeah, we
light
need
on.
to get light on it. The
Yeah,
pilots
I don't
have,
think we're going to be able
on
to.
that ship nav, make
well,
sure
the
we're going the
pilots
right way.
have movable
Center
booms
screen
with lights.
looks like a round disc on the rock.
Watch leads nav. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use those light swing arms
Yeah.
this close to the
Too
cliff.
close.
Yeah,
Got
that's
it.
okay. I think it's actually
Okay.
I think it's actually a thinly encrusting demo sponge, and over on the right is maybe a Bathypathes. Scott says it's not a color that he's used to seeing. Yeah, you can see that sponge now. Okay.
Oh,
Yep, that's okay.
what is a Bathypathes?
Yeah, let's do an
Black
additional
coral.
5.
Coral,
Just to be safe.
black.
Bridge, ROV nav.
So we've kind of
There could easily be an
crept
overhang
in.
above me.
Yeah.
We'd like to add to that last move in the same direction, another 5 meters bearing 140 at decimal 2 knots.
Not to mention I'm a little worried about current shifting.
That's really the concern
Good
here.
copy, thank
Yeah.
you.
Let's zoom in, Roland. We'll just get a quick zoom on this. I think we'll be all right here now.
Oh, what nice imagery.
Yeah, because we were slowly creeping in on it, even though we were settled in far away. So just want to make sure. All right, zoom out.
So
all right, I
Scott,
think we're set safely now, watch lead, so we'll
yesterday,
focus more on what
Chris
imagery
Kelly
you
was
want.
noting that they get their name because of the color of the skeleton, but the tissue can actually come in a variety of different colors. You see, this one was yellow. Many of them are white or pink, and I believe there are even some that are somewhat greenish in color.
Yeah, go ahead and drag my...
So, Scott, are you willing to go to Starpathies on that one?
Chris, the Starpathies would have little secondary pinnules coming off those main branches, and I didn't notice
Yes,
that.
please, drag that
as I was
to the
talking.
facer.
Were there the secondary pinnules?
I have to admit I wasn't paying attention to that either. I was just looking at the general appearance, the translucent nature of it, and the alternate branching and things like that.
I only saw primary pinnules, which means from that main axis, just one branch coming up, a series of branches coming off the main axis, but those aren't secondarily branched, which would put it in the Bathypathes.
Come up a bit. And that should back you away too. So let's look at this stock over here.
yeah, Scott, I'll take a look at the instant replay on that in a couple minutes and see if I can
Want to
answer
zoom in
that
here,
question.
Roland? You can tilt your camera up too, co-pilot, to keep an eye on things.
Copy that. Take a quick look there.
Yeah, we're backing off now.
Sonar's
We're set.
looking better.
We're looking good.
Oh, man.
Sorry the lighting's not better. We'll do our best
That's
here.
okay.
Ooh, look at this.
Look at that. Wow.
I don't see the tentacles
I don't
extended.
see any secondary. In that orange one, I don't see any secondary pinnules, but I may not be.
There's a bamboo curl in behind.
Yeah.
And yeah, this looks like a smaller one. So at this point, I'd have to say Bathypathes, unless it's so young, it hasn't started growing those secondary pinnules.
Okay, zoom out. Bob in a bit. I might have to Just. Yeah, I'm a little heavy.
Okay.
Sea bias is definitely pulling me down.
See, the polyp tentacles were retracted on that back coral, the bamboo coral.
I'll try that. Okay. All right, Roland, I'm with you. What do you want to see?
See something pink above to the right of what we were just imaging?
Oh, over there on the rock, on the black rock.
No, right above lasers.
Oh, I see it. I see what you're saying. Oh, on top. Yeah. Okay.
On the corner, right where the lasers are now.
Can you zoom in here?
That's it. Another one of those rock pins, or what they called it.
Sirius should be settling out here.
Cool. We're in good shape.
That's good.
Yep.
I think that's
Good work, guys. That was good keeping an eye on that.
Wow. So this looks like the sea pen we saw further down the slope, right?
It does indeed. Yep.
And yesterday we saw one that was really beautifully fanned out.
It was.
And Scott gave us a very thorough explanation of the texture and the internal structure of the
that
organism.
rod that goes down the center.
It's like, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
I've just asked the pilot to move so that we can center this more curved series of fractures in the rock that's at the bottom of the screen, a little bit on the right.
Okay.
Pillow lavas often have radial fracture in them. If this were a pillow, it would be an extremely large one. The two little red dots you see are 10 centimeters apart. Most of the structures that we're looking at in this massive outcrop on this faulted wall appear to have much finer fracturing.
All right,
that
sea bias feels better.
Is completely angular.
Felt like I
However,
was
this
getting
one
pushed
looks
down.
a bit curving,
Yeah.
and that is characteristic of pillow lavas, but I don't see the rest of the pillow lava structure in this particular spot.
Any zooms, or are you happy with the wide shot
Nope.
here?
Happy with the wide shot.
Great.
Thank you. That's the best way to look at this structure. Okay.
Cool. Well,
Thank you. We
let's
can
come
go
a
on
bit.
up. Yep.
Copy
Look
that.
for some more critters.
This is quite
Ooh.
different from what we saw
Okay.
yesterday. Yeah,
It is
there we go.
entirely different. Yeah. Not as smooth or flat a surface as we saw yesterday, even though some
Zoom
of the
in.
rocks were
Partial.
fractured. Okay. All right. This is a crinoid because I see the Siri. I'm learning, Shirley. I've been seduced by the dark side.
Okay. You want to go tighter,
They're
Roland? or is that
really
good?
long. They have very long cirri too.
Okay, zoom out.
So a pretty big cliff.
Yep. So I would actually range in on your sonar.
Scott gave us
so we could,
an intro to
see it come down to 30.
echinoderm
Yeah, I can do
taxonomy a
that.
few minutes
Excellent.
ago.
Do that for
And then
Yeah.
Bob Carney
gives you a little more precision.
entered into the
in your,
chat room that all
we can bring
echinoderms
mine
have a
in, too.
special connective tissue that may help adapt
Pilots is
them
10,
to
co-pilot
low food and low energy in the deep sea. So then, and what's so cool about the way we're interacting. Scott went and checked this out, and on TollWeb, I quote, "The ossicles of echinoderms are connected by ligaments that are composed predominantly of collagen. The material properties of this connective tissue are mutable on short time scales under neuronal control. The ligaments are normally locked, rigid, but can be temporarily unlocked or loosened.
So
this provides some interesting mechanical advantages, including the ability to maintain a variety of postures with no muscular effort. And in holothuroids,